Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, okay. So welcome. Happy Friday or whatever day it is if you're watching the video. Just straight up. So we'll be starting today seated. We're going to do a little bit of some breathing and exploring our voices with just different sounds and chanting and some different practices. And then we'll progress on to how to incorporate some of these practices, this chanting, just making sound with movement. And so we'll be doing some stuff in standing and then back on the mat and ending lying in a restful position. And before we start too, I just wanted to re-establish how these classes are. Welcome, whoever's new. Couldn't see who you are. Oh, it's Diana. Hi, Diana. These classes, these Friday series classes, are intended to support our lung health. I was inspired to share these tools when we became in this current situation that we're in with this illness of COVID-19 going around. And I personally had a pretty strong respiratory illness at the beginning of this, which of course brought in all kinds of anxiety around unknowns of what it was, and personally a background with asthma. And so I found myself using all of these tools, all of these yogic tools. And so that's sort of the undercurrent of this, is just looking at how these tools can support your breathing, support your sense of wellness, support your sense of safety, support your sense of connection to self. And so even if we're not ill, we're in a pretty altered condition in our lives right now. And so these tools can support us in so many ways. So today's class is going to be really particularly focused around using our voice as a healing tool. And so we'll go into some more classical ways of chanting and using mantra, but also just kind of getting curious about how the voice and how sound is really felt in the body, and just like finding it yourself, finding that resonation, finding that space. So with all that in just out sharing, take a moment and close your eyes and just sit. You can have your hands on your lap in any kind of a position, a mudra that feels anchoring for you. And so really like the deepest part of sound is, in my experience, is silence and listening. So just starting right now, quiet, but listening to all the sounds in your room, in your body, and your thoughts. And as you listen, you might start to detect different things you hear. Birds, the wind, or a car, maybe something really far away. Maybe really up close, your own breath. Maybe even imagining you could hear your heartbeat. And so sound is a vibration, it's a wave. And so as you're letting these sounds filter in, notice not only how they hear, but how your physical body responds to this listening, this act of listening, filtering in these sound waves. Just notice if there's a response. And now going deeper into yourself, listening for your deeper knowing, your deeper presence, that thing that drove you here, your deeper intention, this little voice inside. And connect there for a moment. Just listening to and feeling that intention in your body. And so I'm going to chant a chant that's a beautiful chant, but it's a little bit more involved as far as teaching. So I'm just going to have you listen. And if you know it, please feel free to chant along. It's the Gayatri mantra. And it's kind of you chant it to the rising sun. And so as the day starts, you're chanting to start the day, but it's also chanting to that rising sun within you. That's that light of consciousness, the very same consciousness we connected to within our listening to our intention. And as you listen, just feel how the sounds, maybe the deeper meaning of that chant land in your body. Your body receives. Inhaling. Tat savitur vareniyam bhargo devasya dhimahi Diyo yona prachodayat. Do it 2 more times. Tat savitur vareniyam bhargo devasya dhimahi Diyo yona prachodayat. Tat savitur vareniyam bhargo devasya dhimahi Diyo yona prachodayat. And then we can all together make the sound Om, this A-U-M, Om. And just threading all that you're feeling, all that intention within you out through that sound. So we'll inhale together. Good. So we can open our eyes, or you can keep them closed if that inward presence, the inward gaze really helps to support you. Let's start to move the body a little bit. So we'll lift the shoulders, roll them up and back. So chanting is a real embodied practice. So when we're chanting, we're breathing. We know about how when we do yoga, we're helping to coordinate the movements with the breath. And if you've been following my classes, and especially if you're really into all the sort of the body anatomy, when you're breathing, you're moving your diaphragm, you're moving your organs, you're moving your pelvic floor, you're moving your rib cage, you're moving all these structural muscles. Good. Last one. You feel how your breath and your movement are kind of freeing up. And then you can gently round the back. I'm doing a little bit of a cat-cow. And as we exhale, doing the lion's breath where you stick the tongue out. You can pause the breath, draw the navel back, and then let the inhale come, reversing the spine through the nose. And so we've talked about, as we're doing this lion's breath, we've talked about not only like the structures of the body. Right now you can imagine your pelvic floor, your diaphragm moving, you can sense all the structures in your mouth, the palate of your mouth, your tongue, all fascially really connected and moving. But we've also talked about this concept of energy. So a couple more of these. And this idea of along your central channel, along the spine, as you're exhaling, imagine from the pelvic floor out your mouth, there's this movement of energy moving out of you. So we all have emotional energy, physical energy, spiritual energy, energy from our thoughts, beliefs, all in there. And it can get stuck. So one last one, just kind of clearing it out. Good. And then just like a little circle with the waist, side to side. If it feels good to keep doing a lion's breath or like a ha breath. And so I invite you to move in these ways that feel just sort of organic. And if you want to start to move the arms a little bit. Just like you're waking up the body, just doing some stretches, opening. Like you just got out of bed. How would your body want to move right now? So just listening, just like when we were listening to the sound, we're listening to the body, how it wants to move. Feeling the breath, feeling things clear, shift. Good. And then coming back to maybe a little bit more stillness, but notice through the stillness, feet are really anchored on the floor, our seat is anchored in our chair or on the floor. We can still feel the breath moving and the subtle energy moving. And now starting to bring in this sort of audible sound with a sigh. So you're alone, your sound is off, nobody can hear you, nobody can see you. What kind of sigh really allows not only a feeling of release in your body, but maybe just some stuff that has been going on, stress in your family and your life and your day. Like just give it a voice, give it a release. it's little, maybe it's big. How does that feel in your body? Whew, what are you connecting to? And then as you're sighing, starting to kind of draw it in, if it got real big and loud, start to draw it more subtle. And so with that sigh, you can catch this resonance, this feeling of kind of this release in your body and ride that feeling of release. So you're starting to sigh. And you're just going to hum. So you're going to tone and create more duration of that release. So we're inhaling and then we're humming, but we're not humming like a pretty singer or any sort of perceived outward, like anybody's going to be hearing it and it has a certain outcome. We're humming from a place of embodiment, of a feeling of just like it's helping to soothe our body. And then we can ride this hum with some yogic movement. So just like we did the cat-cow before, so instead of the lion's breath, we're just going to hum. And so obviously we're making sound on the exhale. And then when we inhale, just a normal breath in. And just notice how that quality, the resonance of the sound, the humming, where you feel it in your body. How do you feel it with your breath, with this movement? Does it connect you to a deeper sense of connection, of release? Good, and then we'll pause center. And then just maybe actually put your hands to your body and see if you can feel, as you're humming, where do you feel a vibration under your hands? Maybe you modulate the sound, making it lower or higher. Maybe you make it louder or softer. Maybe you want to move your hands different parts of your body, on your ribs. Can you feel that sort of buzz? And so we've been doing a lot with, so with the lungs, actually doing percussive massage. This is another way, this vibration of the sound, to actually help to stimulate release in the lungs. Not only in the lungs, and other parts of our body where we might be holding. And so you can explore around, maybe just touching different parts. See how the sound vibrates, see if there's a sense of release. And then we can make more shapes and see if those shapes help to stimulate something different. So as you rotate and as you twist, just stay here for a moment, humming. We're putting a different positioning in our organs, our diaphragm, our pelvic floor, all these muscles that are working as we breathe. But we have that added vibration. And also just this deep intuitive listening to direct the intensity, the tone, just how the sound is coming out of you. Good. When you're ready, you can go back to center and try the other way. Just a gentle twist. Making sound is very primal, very deep to our human experience, just this groans of when we are in pain, pleasure. So how can we kind of find that deep somatic sensation and just sustain it with the hum? Get back through center. And then we can fold forward. So I'll do a little side view. And see how it feels in this shape. If you prefer, you can put a pillow under your belly so you don't go as far, but also that pressure of the pillow can help to put some pressure into the stomach, into the diaphragm, doing more of a diaphragmatic release like some past classes that we've done. And so this just might assist in the experience. Again, no right or wrong. We're just exploring how can we make ourselves feel good, essentially. How can we trust our ability to listen, not only with our ears, but with our body? And be with this sound as a therapeutic tool to allow for release in our body. Not only physical release, but maybe emotional release. Good. And slowly coming up. And we'll do maybe one more stretch because I think it'll feel good and it's a nice to play with. You can bring the foot up and cross like a pigeon. And same thing folding here. If this is inaccessible for you, you can also do a hamstring stretch, any kind of a hip stretch. You're taking the leg forward. But see how that breathing, how that sounding helps you get into your body, helps your body to release. And also how the sense of sensation of pull of the stretch of the hip, it helps you be able to direct your breath and direct that sound so you have more of a sense of embodiment, more exploration, more stuff to work with. Good. And do both legs. Good. And then when we're done with both sides, we'll come back to stillness, come back to seated, and just observe how you feel. Again, listening, feet rooted, hips rooted. Observe how your breath feels, your body feels. Observe the sounds around you, within you. Good. So now we're going to start to go even more. So we've been just humming. Our mouth has been closed the whole time. And I wanted us to start with the humming because it really can help us to internalize the experience. Now we're going to add movement of the mouth. So we're going to we're sirening. We're finding the highs and the lows. Did that bother the sound? I was wondering how, okay, good. I was wondering how these microphones were going to pick up. This is a big experiment. So just let me know. Kind of more of a mid-range pitch that has like a real quality of resonance. You can feel a buzziness, not only in your body and your lungs, but in your face and in your mouth. And so we're just gonna kind of chew on the vowels. I, O, A, E, O, U, blending them. And as you're moving the vowels, notice you're moving your lips, your palate of your mouth, your jaw, your tongue. All these structures are really moving. And when we look at just through the energetic principles of the body, when we change these structures, we're changing how energy flows. We're changing also mechanically how the breath is moving. So just kind of play with that, see how it feels. Ooh. You can open and close the mouth. Good. And now we can bring in some consonants. So when we speak, we're using a combination of vowels and consonants. And actually, before we do the consonants, I want us to do a yogic breathing technique. And so you can see the correlation, because chanting is used in yoga as a breathing tool to help strengthen your breath, to connect you to your breath and this embodiment of your breath. So if you remember from past classes, the breath of fire. So you're just focusing on out, 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 out. And if you put a hand on your belly, you can really feel the gut working. You can feel the pelvic floor working. You can feel this sort of release through the diaphragm. And it doesn't have to be intense or vigorous, just kind of getting that connection, that coordination. Now, when we speak, when we do consonants, p, p, so just with a p, that explosive p, see how there's a similar response in your body. P, p, F, and then a V, 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 k, 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 sh, sh. Keep playing with the different consonants. You can do d, d, l. Where's your tongue? On the palate of your mouth. L, g, g, ya, ya. And so you're just noticing, how does my body feel when I do this? Is there some kind of a release? Is there tension that was maybe in my throat or my tummy, in my diaphragm, that's releasing when I just make these sounds? And so now we're going to sort of use those sounds as a springboard to sustain a tone. Ya, ya, ga, va, ra. And as you sustain that ah, where do you feel it opening in your body? So again, we're using this as a tool of therapeutic, somatic release. How is the response in your body? Good. And then after you've done exploring, just pause again in stillness, listening, and sort of feeling for that echo, that after effect. What has shifted subtly in your body, in your energy, in your awareness? Okay. So yogis, through deep, deep observation, curiosity, meditation, started noticing these correlations with sounds and their effects on the body. And so they developed these seed mantras called the bija mantras. So they're the seed sounds that affect different parts of the body. So we'll just briefly go over them so you can have an experience of it. And then we're going to take one and use it through the rest of the class. So our root chakra, the pelvic floor, this is an area, location of focus where there's a lot of things happening mechanically, energetically, emotionally, spiritually. Bring your attention there. You can even put your hand down by your pelvic floor, pubic bone, just kind of down low. Lam. Say lam. 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 And notice when you say that, really working to say it with that resonance where you feel this sort of buzz, this opening, this vibration in the body. Lam. Notice what subtle stimulation is happening, just mechanically, just sensationally in the pelvic floor region. Good. And now your hand at your navel and say Vam. And really working that, a big, like wide ah. Vam. And we did that like hum that we did earlier. Vam. 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 What do you feel when you make that sound in that region? And then put your hand right at your diaphragm, your solar plexus. This is Ram. 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 Just observing, curious how the effect. And then put your hand on your chest. So this is Yam. 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 Your pitch can be lower, higher, the same as mine. Yam. Again, you're trying to just like when you're playing an instrument and there's that resonance, that like the instruments being played, how can you just find that instrument of your body? Yam. Good. And then the throat. Hum. 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 And your third eye, right around your sinuses, at the skull, the brain. So A-U-M. Just vowels now. Om. Om. Good. And then the top of your head, complete silence. So as you're exhaling, feel what you feel as you're listening to silence. You can take your hand down, just observe how you feel in your hole. You can notice where your feet and your hips are, those grounding points. And so you might have had different experiences on different parts. You might have felt something was easier, something was more challenging, just embodied wise, or maybe it brought up something feeling more irritated or more just completely in a peaceful, easeful state. So just taking note, and that could lead us, to individualize your experience. It's just this whole study on its own. But for the purposes of today's class, I was going to have us focus on the seed syllable yam, because it is kind of for a lot of people, it's an easier one because the ya, it really helps to open the palate, open the throat, open these structures so that there's any habits of tension physically, energetically, can start to open, but it's also our lung area. So this is where we're focusing. So now we're going to just chant yam, but we're going to chant it repeatedly and comfortably so. So your pitch might be the same as mine. It might be a different pitch. So how high or low you are is what the pitch is. So we're going to inhale together. Yam, 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 yam. And then inhale. So we'll do about 5. Yam, 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 yam. Keep going. So notice, so keep going on your own as I'm kind of explaining. In the past classes, we've done krama breath. So where we've exhaled and paused and exhaled a little bit more and paused. We've done that on the inhale. We've inhaled and paused. We've inhaled a little bit more. We've coordinated with movement. So right now you can imagine as you're yam, yam, every time you go to say yam, you're sort of pausing a little bit and re-articulating. And just notice in your body if that brings any efficiency, ease, clarity, and how you're making sound, how you're making tone. One more time, kind of just doing these little experiments on yourself, like, oh, okay, I do this and I have this effect. Interesting. Yum, 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 yum. Good. And then again, we'll come to that sort of cleansing focus of quiet. Maybe notice the echoes. What you hear, what you feel. And even bring back your original intention. And just see how the energy of that, the embodiment of that, live within these new pathways you've been opening up. A couple more moments, just observing, being with yourself here. Good. So let's bring ourselves up to standing now. Just have to keep an eye on the time. Okay. I always want to go longer. Yeah, so let's stand up. We can move our chairs out of the way and you can shake it out a little bit. So we've been doing a lot of standing and just kind of shaking out. So especially if this is a new practice for you and you might have felt like, oh yeah, some of that was releasing, but maybe you felt added tension by focusing so much. And sometimes when we're learning something new, we're trying to get it right. So just, you know, giving so much gentleness, compassion for ourselves. And if there was anything that increased our aggravation just from the practice, shake it off here. Or anything going on beyond now. Good. And shake our voice. Good. And last little shakes. And so we're going to harness some of what we just did, and we're going to chant as we move. So we just did the yum, 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 yum. We're going to bring it down to 4 yums because I think that's a little easier to do when we're moving. So we're going to inhale the arms up, and just as you exhale into a forward bend, do 4 yums. Yum, 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 Yum. Stay there, breathe in, let the head hang. And then again, 4 yums. Yum, 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 yum. And then inhale up. So one more time like that. So you can also do this seated if standing and folding forward is too much. So in your own time, 4 yams coming down. So just structurally speaking, when we're chanting, we're exhaling. When we're exhaling, we're using our pelvic floor, we're using our tummy muscles, we're actually structurally stabilizing the body. But then on that more subtle body, we're helping to move the energy. Good, yams. And then we can inhale up. So now we're going to lengthen it out to 3 yams. So we're going to just lengthen that tone. So we're going to inhale up. Yum, yum, yum. Stay here, 3 yams. So you're lengthening each yam and really feeling that sense of air moving through you, resonation evenly moving through the ah. And just seeing the effect in the body. Inhale back up. Again, 3 yams. Yum, yum, yum. If the forward bending is too much for you, you can go halfway. You can even just do your arms if you want to keep your head upright. Back up. And when you're ready to come back up, inhale up. Now we're going to do 2 yums. Yum, yum. Yum, yum. So it takes a little, inhale up, one more time like that. It takes a little more breath support to sustain the yum. So just notice in your body, do it again, 2 yums down. How does it feel to sustain? And use that sound to support your breath, support your movement. And then on the last one, I don't want to rush you. 1 single yum all the way down, stay 1 yum. So it's yum, yum. And again, we're not trying to make a pretty sound. We're not going for the outcome of the sound. We're going for how the sound is in our body. So 1 more. So you inhale up, exhale down, yum. I almost think of it like a foghorn. You can just feel that. Or you can think of like an accordion playing. There's this sort of back pressure. Your body's this sort of accordion, letting out the sound. Good. And then pause in standing and notice how you feel. Just notice the echo of that experience. Good. And then we'll do a little bit with Warrior One. And actually, we might have a chair close by. We'll use it on the second. We'll do 2 different things here. So if you're, I'll just give a brief visual so you know how to put the chair. So we're going to be doing something here, and then we're going to be doing something here. So if you don't want to go as far, having the chair higher is good. If you want to go a little bit lower, having the chair, the seat. You can also just come to the floor, but you might actually get some interesting back extension when you have the arms out on something. And I'm picking this because we've done this in the past lung classes, and I want to just kind of keep that thread of the same asanas, but doing these different breathing and meditation and different focuses. So we have our legs staggered, a comfortable width apart so we feel really stable. and a comfortable distance away from each other to where we can bend the front knee and we don't feel like we're really putting pressure on our back or having to compensate deeply. So we're going to, let's see, we're going to inhale and open. We're going to stay there and 4 yams. Yum, 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 yum. And then notice the after effect of the next inhale. And then simply lower the arms. Straighten the leg. So do that again with the 4 breaths. Inhale, open. You can take your hands a little higher if it feels good. Stay there in 4 yams. Yum, 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 yum. And then breathe in. Exhale down. So now I'll go to 3 breaths, then 2 breaths, then 1 breath, just one of each. Inhale, open. Or sorry, yams. Yum, yum, yum. Good. Inhale, open, and then 2 yams. Yum, yum. And then 1 yam. So inhale, open. Yum. Good. Remaining with your legs. And then from here, we can inhale, open the arms, maybe a little bit higher if they want to reach a little higher. And then as we exhale, yamming forward, yum. Stay there, breathe in. And then yamming to come out. Yum, just coming back the way you came, bending the knee. Inhale there. So we're moving on exhale with the chant. Staying there, breathing in, observing how we feel, listening. And then moving on exhale again with the chant, staying there, breathing in. Good. Last one. Yum. Yum. And then when we're done, lowering the arms. And noticing how you feel, bringing the legs back to neutral. Just notice the weight through the feet, the pressures through the body, the sensations through the body, the subtle energy. What do you notice? What do you hear? Good. And we'll do the other side. So if any of that felt like too much, less is more. Make your stance smaller, make your arms smaller, make your breath, if you're trying to lengthen it too much beyond what is comfortable for you, so the other foot forward, you could be straining and taxing your system. So just regular breath. And if the chanting is aggravating, then just listen to me doing it, or listen to it in your head. That's actually another technique. We'll be leading ourselves towards more subtle way of utilizing this. So we're here, we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna inhale, open, just the upright, not the chair yet. Stay, and 4 yams. Yum, 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 yum. And then notice the inhale. Exhale the arms down. Again, if it's too much, if you feel like you're straining, fighting yourself, make it smaller. Inhale, open. Yum, 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 yum. Inhale, stay. Exhale down. So this time 3 yums. Inhale, open. Make it yours. Maybe even linking to that more subtle energy of your intention. Maybe when you're yamming, yum, it's like that's the voice from that deeper intention coming through this chant. Yum, yum. And then 2 yums, so you're sustaining longer breath. Inhale, open. Exhale, 2 yums. Yum, yum. Last one, inhale, open, 1 yum. Again, make it your own. If you want the arms up towards the sky, do that. Yum. Good. And now as we exhale, we'll fold forward and stay there. Breathe in. And then we can chant as we come out. Yum. Inhale there. Yum. You can also even put your hand on your thigh if a chair isn't available. You can make it so many, so you. A couple more, moving on exhale, staying on inhale. Really internalizing this. How does your body want to move? How does your voice want to move? How can this be so therapeutic and soothing for you? And after you finish what feels like an even number of times on this side might require something different than the other side. Then come back to just standing, observing. Listening. Good. And then kind of like we started in seated with the cat cow with the lion's breath, we can do that here, but in standing. You can put your hands on your thighs. Inhale. Inhale. If you prefer to chant instead of open the mouth. So remember, again, when we were clearing the energy with the lion's breath, you're also clearing that energy with the chant. So if you find one tool works better, use the one that works. You feel a somatic response of release, of opening. Good. And then we can pause, hands either at our side or against our body, wherever they're led to. Reconnect with your intention, your feet. And then we'll come to the floor on hands and knees. So we're going to go from all fours and then slowly back to child's pose. And then we'll come back up to all fours. And either again back to child's pose or curl under the toes and up and back to down dog. So down dog is an option. Exhaling back. Inhaling all fours. Just like that. Kind of let the breath start to move first. Body follows. Notice a little lingering pause. Let the breath start to move. Body follows. Lingering pause. Breath moves. Body follows. And just back and forth, this little pattern. So we're going to add the chanting. So as we exhale, we're going to be chanting. You can do a sustained lam, you can do 2, 3, or 4 lams. Lam, or sorry, yam. We were doing yam. Yam. And then just listen for silence, the contrast of silence in the inhale. Touch those pauses. Yam. A couple more of these. So at any point you need to stop, stop. But now, as you're doing the inhale, do a silent chant. So you're exhaling, la, yam, outwardly. And as you're inhaling, pretend like you're chanting as you inhale. You can hear yourself saying the same yam. So there's an audible yam, the felt sensations of it. And there's an internal yam with the felt sensation. See if that has a different effect. Finish your last one. And then rest in child's posture. You're there, your arms could be extended or at your side. And you can continue as you exhale, just this very, very quiet yam. Pause your breath. And then quietly in your head, inhale, in yam as you inhale. And touch the quiet of the pause. Good. 2 more breaths there, just resting in child's pose. Bringing in the silent chanting. Good. And then we'll come up and bring ourselves into some kind of an asymmetrical posturing that feels right for you. So I'm going to give you a couple different options. We won't be in it super long. So in past classes, we've looked at the supported side body stretch, and we've looked at the supported twist. So I'll show you briefly both of those, and you can choose if one feels right over the other. There we go. I'll go this way. So the side body stretch, we have a couple blankets or pillows stacked or bolster, and we're laying over it with our head either on a pillow or our arm. Arm can be lifted, leg can be extended. So if that feels good in your body, you can also do a rotation. So you can start in a side lying, have your legs with a bolster, And then coming into a rotation. And again, we could spend a bit more time propping. I don't want to rush us past it, but I don't want to spend too much of our time on it too. I like to, in the twist rotations, have a support between the legs and a support behind the sacrum, sort of wedge and stabilize the pelvis. And sometimes people might even want a prop behind their shoulder blades, so when they come back, their shoulders are resting against something. So right now my shoulder blade and my arm is resting against this prop, as opposed to if it was just, I would twist deeper into it. So again, it all just depends on your mobility and needs. So you're either in a side stretch, you can even be side stretched just here on the floor without a prop under you, or you're in a rotation, or you might be somewhere in between. You might be sort of semi-rotated. You might even be rotated forward. So giving lots of options, because we all have different needs, and in past classes we've gone in greater detail over the different ones. And I wish I could, if you had questions, I wish I could guide you individually. Just trust your intuition. But just really get propped in. So if you feel like there's a part of your body that feels like it's holding, put something underneath it, under a limb. Put something to support the curves of the spine, so the spine isn't feeling any strain at all. And then sometimes just having cushions close by against your chest, against your back, even on your body, the weight, the pressure, it can cue to the nervous system a deep sense of being held and safety and calm. So that's why I always say just snuggle yourself in like you're just tucked into the womb, and cushions on all sides of you. You feel that contact and that being held. And so once you're really just finding that presence or that supportive shape, we've explored a variety of tools with sounding. And so you could just hum or just kind of like we did at the beginning, modulating the sound. Just see how the sound, play with it and see how it lands in the body here. And so you can stay like that. If you want a little bit more structure and guidance, we can come back to those yams. And this time we're going to progress from with our dynamic, the intensity of the tone. So we're going to yam kind of louder, then quiet, barely audible, and then mouthing it. So we're making the mouth shape. So I'll guide you through it. We're going to inhale. Yum, yum. I'm just kind of tapering off, and then inhale again. Go from loud to quiet to mouthing. And just see the contrast in that dynamic. You're looking for, how does my body respond to this? And after you've done that a few times, then you could just do the mouthing. And then finally, you can even move the mouthing and just do the silent chanting. I'll be right back. There's a loud TV in the other room. I'm just going to really quick. Never mind. Good. And just about 4 more breaths here. You can stay with that quiet chanting. If there was an audible chanting where you actually felt more of a release, go there. Or this might be now a nice time just to listen to silence and sort of feel into the echoes of what you just did. Good. And so we can stretch our arm when we're ready, stretch our leg, maybe coming into more of just like a reach. And then let your body come forward, come upright. And before we do the other side, if you want to do any kind of a little symmetrical release, counterbalancing, cat-cow, child's pose, moving between up dog, down dog, or any combination thereof. Good. And then we'll do the other side. Choosing the same general shape that you did on the other side, but you might need different props for this side. You might need to slightly position the leg differently, the arm differently. So coming into your side stretch or your twist. So if you were doing the twist, the prop was between the legs and wedged behind the sacrum and or sacrum and shoulder blades. And so we've talked about in past classes too, how these positions are not only good for your muscles and your skeleton, and just the mechanics of breathing, how they actually help to mobilize the diaphragm and the rib cage and even the organs, which are indirectly related to the breath, but also helps with drainage in the lungs. And also this more subtle body, this energetic body, where we might be having patterns of holding from some kind of emotional response somewhere. Just when we sort of intuit, like, oh yeah, that feels good. That feels like my body is letting go. We don't even have to know what it's letting go of. So once we're finally in the shape that feels supportive, holding us, and also just providing this real structure of a place to surrender. We're here with the sensations, our body being held with our breath. Again, if we want to sort of just explore with the breath, doing hums or groans or You're here alone in your room, you're not in a yoga class. So there is this added intimacy with self where you can just respond to impulse. If you need to cry, cry. This is the place where you are safe in your own space. And then if you'd like to go into more of that more structured, supportive nature of sound, we can do, again, the tapering with the dynamic, the intensity of the sound. So yum, yum. Yum, yum. Do that a few times, trusting yourself, just kind of almost more witnessing this process rather than really trying to control it. I'm just curious how it comes out of you. Surprise. And then you can just do the mouthing if that feels good. I can literally feel this feeling of extracting tension, extracting energy from my body. Maybe for you, there's a different visual or sensation attached. Maybe you prefer the tone. And then finally, you can do just the silent chant. So the mouth is quiet and closed, all the structures of the mouth. But there's that energetic, there's still this subtle response in the body. And then even just letting that go and allowing for that depth, sensation of quiet to be felt. If you are working with a specific spot in your body that needs healing, if it is the lungs, there's congestion, you can put your attention on that point, or even your hand, as you're with this presence, with the sound, just holding that placement, that energy, that added support. Of course, you could even do more sort of gross body percussive techniques too, in relation with this sounding, this deeper presence. Just being guided. One last breath there. And then when you're ready, still laying there on your side, start to reach your body long, arm long, leg long, any little movements or wiggles or rotations that feel good. And then coming back into child's pose, or excuse me, fetal position, and then either up to all fours to do the countering posture like you did before, or you can roll over onto your back, knees to chest, your knees to chest bridge. You're all fours. And again, feel free to let yourself deviate from the more linear form of these shapes. If your body wants to sort of just unwind a little bit, listen to that. If you're actually just super nourished by stillness, let stillness support you, whatever still shape you're in. Good. And then we're all going to lay down. So we can either do, if you'd like to do like just a really good solid Shavasana, where we really progress into a deep relaxation, you can just go right into Shavasana. If you'd like to share your Shavasana with a little bit more of a heart opening inclined pose, like the Supta Baddha Konasana, Supta Virasana, where you're opening up the upper body and spending a little bit more time in actual physical posturing of passive supportive opening, I'll let you know when we'll go into the Shavasana. So you just know yourself best. If you just want to just go really deep and be still, just go right into Shavasana. You can have your legs resting on a pillow, legs rested up on a chair or on a bed. Support yourself, putting blankets on you. I like to even tuck my blankets in around my sides, um, just so I can feel that cozy container being held. If you are in the open chest opening shape, just make sure the curves of your spine, so your low back feels very supported, your neck and your limbs feel supported. So you might need something under an arm, something under your head, maybe a little more something under the hips, legs, whatever shape the legs decide to be in. So again, just giving more freedom here and how you want to customize this positioning. And as you settle in, you feel the ground supporting you, the props supporting you. And then your listening supporting you, the sound itself. You can almost feel sort of the texture, the substance of sound in our ears and our bodies, that vibration. Even silence itself having a communication with our body, like a physical entity. And so we can do a progressive body scan. I'll guide you through it. You can participate in sounding, actually making a verbal sound, or you can do the silent sounding, or you can just allow yourself to just be in a place of listening and receiving, bathed in the sounds within and around you. And so we'll be doing a little bit different chant. It's prana ya namaha. Prana ya namaha. So prana is this energy, this subtle energy that we've been connecting with. It's also the prana region of the chest, this whole different studies. Has a deeper meaning in relation to the lungs. Namaha basically means surrender. Just surrender. So bring your attention now down to your feet. And you can again either verbally chant, silently chant, or just receive. Pranaya namaha. And then you could repeat. And just observe how you feel. Good. And then all the way from your feet up to your hips. So the whole length of the legs. Again, I'll chant and then you can repeat. Pranaya namaha. Pranaya namaha. And then observe, listen. And then from your feet, up your legs, to your hips and your belly, just including this whole lower part of the torso. Pranaya Namaha. Pranaya Namaha. And then carrying that awareness from the feet, the legs, the hips, the belly, all the way up to the chest, the ribs, the heart, front and the back, all around. Pranaya Namaha. Pranaya Namaha. Observe, listen, feel. Good. And then again, carrying that awareness from the feet up the legs, the hips, the belly, the heart, into the shoulders, the neck, the arms, the hands. Pranaya Namaha. Pranaya Namaha. And then finally, bringing our awareness from our feet, up our legs, to our hips, our belly, our heart, our throat, our shoulders, our arms, and now into our face and our whole head to the very top of the scalp. Our whole body immersed in this awareness. Pranaya Namaha. Pranaya Namaha. I surrender. Allow that echo to hold you. Let yourself surrender into that echo, to the quiet beyond. So the energy and the life, the vibration of your deepest intention, that deepest voice within this space, holding you, healing you, supporting you. Three more breaths here like this. Just in whatever personalized you way this has manifested. This is just you. And so if you'd like to, if you're in the inclined, heart opening shape, you can stretch and move a bit. Move the arms, move the legs, do a little wiggle, pelvic tilt. Start to wake your way on your back and rest in Shavasana real briefly. If you're already in Shavasana, if you need to do a little wiggle or readjustment, or just feel yourself dropping deeper and deeper. A few more quiet moments here. So just a few more moments, you can stay with this silence, this thinking of silence itself as a mantra. Or if you want to bring in that silent yam or a silent affirmation, I am safe, I am peaceful, whatever medicine in the form of a word, of an idea, you can just, even if it doesn't even have a word, it's beyond a word, just I am. Be with that deep presence, that felt sense, listening with your body, with this mantra. So we can finally wiggle the fingers and the toes. We stretch out the arms and feel free if the hands want to come to the body, doing like a body sweep, or just come to a place and holding presence with your hands. 1 or 2 more breaths, savoring this precious time. To integrate. Good. And then finally, when you're ready, you can slowly make your way up to seated. Sitting cross-legged, kneeling in a chair on the floor. And hands in any position that feels centering on your lap, cupped at your base or prayer position or against the body. And so we'll do 3 Oms together with an extra awareness of the silence beyond, especially after that last one. And you can let everything that you just experienced somatically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, just kind of feel like it's all integrating through the psalm. And maybe even you can use the psalm as a offering to let all this energy that you move through you, imagine it moving beyond you, through you, to whoever, whatever needs it. So 3 Oms together to conclude class. Inhale. Ah. 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 Thank you for joining today. Namaste. And feel free to give yourself a big, big, big hug. Thank this body. Thank you, body. Thank you, lungs. Thank you, all of you. And thanks for sticking with me. So beautiful to connect with you all.
Laura.
You're welcome. I feel you through the screen. Yeah. So thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And yeah, we're all there. So, and this is a big study. This was just kind of a taster class. So it's a focus that's a real, I have a deep personal interest and connection with this work. And so if you want to know more, I'm happy to share more. But I hope this helps. So thank you guys.
That was great, Laura. Thank you.
You're welcome. Be well.
You too.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye. To the other side.